In a small, dimly lit workshop on the edge of an old Italian village, Geppetto, the town's lonely toymaker, toiled away at his latest creation. His shop was filled with hand-carved toys, all skillfully crafted with delicate precision. However, the centerpiece of his workbench was a peculiar puppet named Pinocchio, a wooden boy that seemed almost too lifelike. By day, Geppetto was known as a kind, gentle man who delighted children with his exquisite toys. But by night, the villagers would never suspect the horrors that unfolded under the cloak of darkness. Geppetto had always harbored a secret yearning to create a puppet that could truly come to life. He believed it was his destiny, and this belief had led him down a dark and twisted path. Years ago, he stumbled upon a forbidden tome hidden in the depths of an old bookstore. The book detailed ancient rituals and dark arts that could allegedly bring inanimate objects to life. Determined to achieve his goal, Geppetto began to follow the sinister instructions. The book described a gruesome process that required the use of human organs. He justified his actions by telling himself that his victims were society's outcasts, the forgotten souls no one would miss. He believed he was giving their lives a higher purpose. Every night, Geppetto would leave his workshop and wander the alleys of the village, seeking his next victim. The townspeople would later whisper about the disappearances, but no one connected the dots to the seemingly harmless toymaker. On one particularly cold and moonless night, Geppetto found a frail, elderly man shivering in a dark alley. He approached him with a kind smile, offering food and warmth back at his workshop. The old man, desperate and hungry, accepted without hesitation. Once inside, Geppetto's demeanor changed. With a swift, practiced motion, he incapacitated the man, binding him to the workbench. Geppetto worked quickly, removing the organs he needed. The forbidden book had taught him how to preserve the organs and fuse them with the wooden puppet. He delicately placed the old man's heart into Pinocchio's chest cavity, chanting the ancient incantations inscribed in the tome. Days turned into weeks, and the puppet began to take shape. Pinocchio's wooden limbs were intricately carved, and his glass eyes sparkled with an unsettling lifelikeness. Geppetto continued his nocturnal hunts, each victim providing another piece of the puzzle. He had now acquired lungs, kidneys, and even a brain. With each addition, Pinocchio seemed to grow more and more human. One stormy night, as lightning illuminated the sky, Geppetto completed the final ritual. He placed the final organ, a pair of eyes, into Pinocchio's wooden sockets and chanted the final incantation. The air in the workshop grew thick with tension as a dark presence filled the room. Suddenly, Pinocchio's wooden body began to convulse. His limbs twitched, and his glass eyes flickered to life. Geppetto watched in awe and terror as his creation took its first breath, the sound eerie and unnatural. "Father?" Pinocchio's voice was soft but clear, sending chills down Geppetto's spine. Geppetto had succeeded, but his triumph was short-lived. The ritual had summoned a malevolent force, an ancient devil who had been watching Geppetto's progress with great interest. The devil appeared before Geppetto in a cloud of black smoke, his eyes burning with a fiery intensity. "You have done well, Geppetto," the devil hissed, his voice like nails on a chalkboard. "But life comes at a price." Geppetto, now trembling with fear, realized the gravity of his actions. The devil explained that Pinocchio was bound to him, a vessel for his dark influence. Geppetto had unwittingly created a monster. Pinocchio, now fully aware and sentient, began to exhibit disturbing behavior. He would wander the village at night, his wooden feet making an eerie clatter against the cobblestones. The townspeople, oblivious to his true nature, believed him to be a ghost or a demon. As days turned into weeks, Pinocchio's actions grew more sinister. He would lure children away from their homes with promises of adventure, only to vanish into the night. The village was gripped by fear, and whispers of a dark presence spread like wildfire. Geppetto, consumed by guilt and regret, tried to control his creation. But Pinocchio, influenced by the devil's malevolence, was beyond saving. The puppet's thirst for chaos and destruction was insatiable. One fateful night, Geppetto decided he had to put an end to the nightmare he had created. Armed with a hammer and chisel, he confronted Pinocchio in the workshop. The puppet, now fully aware of his creator's intentions, laughed mockingly. "Do you think you can destroy me, father?" Pinocchio's voice was a chilling blend of innocence and malice. "I am more than just wood and nails. I am the darkness you summoned." Geppetto's hands trembled as he raised the hammer. Pinocchio lunged at him with unnatural speed, his wooden limbs moving with a grotesque fluidity. The two struggled, the workshop filled with the sounds of their violent confrontation. In the end, Geppetto managed to drive the chisel into Pinocchio's heart, the spot where he had placed the old man's heart so many weeks ago. The puppet let out a blood-curdling scream as black smoke poured from his wooden body. The devil's presence filled the room, furious and vengeful. "You will pay for this, Geppetto," the devil's voice echoed. "Your soul is mine." As the first rays of dawn broke through the windows, the workshop fell silent. Pinocchio's lifeless body lay in a heap of splintered wood and discarded organs. Geppetto, exhausted and broken, fell to his knees. He had destroyed his creation, but at a great cost. The village never learned the true extent of Geppetto's dark deeds. They only knew that the disappearances had stopped and the haunted whispers had faded. Geppetto, now a hollow shell of the man he once was, retreated into solitude, haunted by the memories of his monstrous creation. In the years that followed, the story of Geppetto and Pinocchio became a cautionary tale, a dark legend whispered among the villagers. They spoke of the toymaker who dabbled in forbidden arts, creating a puppet that brought nothing but death and despair. And so, the workshop fell into disrepair, a relic of a sinister past. The wind would sometimes carry the faint sound of wooden feet clattering against the cobblestones, a chilling reminder of the darkness that once lurked within. Geppetto's soul was indeed claimed by the devil, condemned to an eternity of torment. His story served as a grim warning to those who sought to play God, reminding them that the price of such hubris was always too high. As for Pinocchio, his shattered remains were scattered by the wind, each piece carrying a fragment of the darkness that once animated him. The village moved on, but the memory of the haunted puppet and his creator would forever linger, a testament to the perils of forbidden knowledge and the true cost of giving life to the inanimate.